Alright everybody, welcome to Imba TV where everything is imbalanced. Just like my mispress on my keys there. Let me just manually do it there. You got a little bit of a black screen only because I mispressed the button. Anyway, regardless of that, this is Imba TV where everything is imbalanced. I am MC Dubs. With me is Fire Silver. And we're bringing you this next game in non-stop StarCraft action of Tuesday. I mean, what's CraftCup without Imba TV, Fire?
Yeah, man. It's not even CraftCup at all.
That's right. That's right. We've got NTO Chelovek spawning down in the bottom left of this Blistering Sands here as the purple Terran, and up here at the top right is the yellow Protoss being piloted by Skiteri. So with all that being said, man, why don't you take it away? I've got to finish some stuff up in the back end.
All right, sure. So yeah, as you said, the spawning positions: Terran in the south position, Protoss in the north. Blistering Sands not in the map pool anymore. Removed. From Blizzard's perspective, they didn't like the fact that most of the original ladder maps had only one main attack route, and I mean this map especially, it has been considered imbalanced for times. In PvZ, with timing pushes like the 4-gate, it was considered imbalanced because of the fact that they can put spine crawlers down, but they can just bust down the back rocks. The third on this map is pretty hard to take, which also makes longer games less likely. You have NTO Chelovek throwing down his first barracks at 12 supply, and the gateway for Skiteri at 12 supply also. Constantly chrono boosting out his probes. He has that probe inside of NTO Chelovek's base, looking around for gas timings. What kind of add-on goes onto that barracks is very important. And the types of unit he is going to start producing. It's all information that is very, very useful to him to adapt his game plan round. The first assimilator for Skiteri just finishing up now, and a second pylon going down. His gateway just finishing up now, and NTO Chelovek getting his orbital command now, putting SCVs on the gas, and sending his own SCV out to scout. We do see the cybernetics core now being placed down from Skiteri, and it looks like he's saving up for the first Zealot out of that gateway. Meanwhile, supply depot is going out for Chelovek, and the Marines, his first unit out, calling down a mule there with his first 50 energy, and Skiteri just searching around with his probe, staying at that Zelnaga tower, checking there's nothing coming. But the SCV will make its way in, going to be checking how many gas he's got. Obviously, if he's got 2, then it's a very good indicator that he will be teching up and not doing some sort of 4-gate. He's trying to chase that off with a probe. The Zealot is nearly out now, being rallied straight towards the SCV to take that down. A second barracks now under production for Chelovek, and doesn't have his second gas yet. Meanwhile, a pylon going down at the back rocks for Skiteri, so you can check if those rocks are being broken down by any sort of one Marine force trying to break in there early. But we do see a tech lab now being placed down on the barracks for Chelovek. As you see, warp gate technology about 20% complete, not being chrono boosted. Instead, Skiteri going straight for a robotics. So we could see a 2-gate robo now from Skiteri. A very, very common opener versus Terran. Those earlier mortars are invaluable. And second barracks now finished up with Chelovek. Stimpack now being researched. 140 does not have the plus time in the 1.3 patch that comes out tomorrow. And we see reactor now being placed on the second barracks. So building his supply depot at the ramp. It doesn't have a supply depot at the back yet, but it's now getting a bunker down at his ramp. So Chelovek kind of playing it safe here, getting the early upgrades he needs. Stimpack is like the best upgrade you can get as Terran in the early game. Because, you know, Marauders pretty much roll every single unit in the early game. They're low cost, they give a lot of damage, and concussive shells is just so good versus Zealots. That reactor now finishing up. Protoss meanwhile getting his second gate, so we are seeing a 2-gate robo. His warp gate take just finished, and he will be turning his gateway in and getting an observer out as his first unit, going for that early expansion. So he has that Nexus building. Meanwhile, Chelovek getting a command center down himself, so he will be only seconds behind Skiteri at this point. This SCV will come in though and will scout the Nexus going down, so, you know, Chelovek might choose to do an early push now. He does have this bunker, and it's loaded with 3 Marines. He has 3 Marauders and 5 Marines currently, so he could do a small push and try and abuse or even cancel that Nexus. Meanwhile, a pylon being placed up in the top corner of the map, and a supply depot at the back rocks for Chelovek. Chelovek now opting to get his 3rd barracks now in a line, just salvaging that bunker there, getting his resources back, and placing a missile turret down. He must have seen that observer, so he doesn't want him spying on his army production and what it's consisting of, because, you know, Protoss will have to make the choice of what kind of unit comp he's going for, and if he can push or not. And now seeing that, he's feeling quite worried. I mean, he's got 3 sentries and 2 zealots, and if Chelovek pushes, he can do some real damage. But he will take down that observer, cancelling that missile turret, and that expansion now finished for Skiteri, putting down a pylon and saturating it. Meanwhile, a robotics bay going down, and a second immortal coming out, so he's definitely going for Colossus very, very quickly off these 2 bases. No extra gateways thrown down just yet. Meanwhile, Chelovek getting his orbital command on his 2nd expansion. +1 weapon upgrades and combat shield now being researched. He doesn't have concussive shells as of yet. More SCVs, getting his 2nd gas at his main just now, and sending his expansion, floating it to the natural.
Wow.
Yep.
I am
pretty
back.
The opening. Hi.
Hi. Things are stable and well over here.
Good to hear.
And I see a lot of bio from Chelovek.
Yep, I mean, with this composition, Skiteri is going to be pretty safe. I mean, Zealot Immortal rolls bio really hard, so he's not really going to have a problem. With any early pushes, the Zealots with the force fields is going to trap that massive force and split it up, so they can deal a lot of damage. Currently we see 40 probes to 32 SCVs, and going up from both players now, getting his 3rd and 4th gas very, very quickly at his expansion, so Chelovek really needs that gas for his next tech path. He does have a factory and a starport going down now, getting a reactor on his factory, so he might switch that with the starport to get out some early medevacs or Vikings to deal with the Colossi that Skiteri is making. 2 starports now in production next to that factory. That reactor just going to finish up soon. Skiteri constantly chrono boosting out the thermal lance upgrade and his 2nd Colossus, and throwing down more pylons, more gateways, so because he can support this off 2 bases, so he wants to be able to actually spend his money on units. Chelovek has a much, much larger force at this point, but Skiteri does have the tech advantage. Chelovek is still staying on tier 1 units, and Skiteri is now at tier 3 with the Colossus mixed in. A Twilight Council now going down, more pylons at the natural, so he can get charge or blink, whichever he chooses, and more Stalkers being warped in and sentries.
And down goes that SCV as it scouts in and sees the Colossus and the unit composition that Skiteri has. And we're seeing a little bit of tower builds here as Chelovek pushes forward. And that's right, no Vikings as of yet. Well, there is now one on the board. Just as I say that, there is a reactor core on the first starport. No expansion bay on the 2nd starport. And it looks like without the food, there is a little bit of a supply lock. Once that supply block is finished, then we'll see more and more of those Vikings being pumped out. At the moment, we do see a dropship loading up with 5 Marines and 1 Marauder. They do get seen, and they do take out that probe that's sitting on that Zelnaga watchtower, and it looks like they're going to keep moving back. But look at this. This proxy pylon's done for. Chelovek's going to see that and go, haha, no way.
You think he would? Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh come on, man, don't do this to me.
From the first day with your new internet connection.
Yeah.
How harsh can you be?
For sure.
Chelovek got 2 Vikings out at the moment, and 3 Colossi, 2 Immortals, 6 Zealots, and a few Stalkers now up, warping in more Zealots at the natural expansion. Charge is seconds away, about 30 seconds away from completing.
And these
moving
Vikings
those
gonna get
Colossi
picked
back.
off.
And sentries actually killing something for once, which is something you don't see often. You know, it's kind of a 50-50 mix.
Oh, and look at this.
Marine
They're going
Marauder.
after the rocks in the back area. We'll see what kind of reaction comes from Skittery. He's going to need to do something soon, man. I'll tell you that.
Yep. We'll see if he does actually move up there, if he's going to send a small force up, scare him to moving his army, and then just roll the natural. But these Vikings are going to try and make their way in and snipe off any Colossi they can. Chelovek has seen the armies at the ramp, so it looks like he's going to be pushing up the back entrance now, straight into the base. And Sakiri's going to move in here, try to take down as much as he can. Does have 3 Immortals now, which will really deal with those Marauders very, very well. One of them going down there. The second just about to fall. But those 2 Colossi are ripping up that entire bio.
Oh, and you know what, man?
He's
One more
succeed.
set of shots would have taken down that second Colossus. But those 2 Colossus stand tall and ends up taking out all of Chelovek's Marines and Marauders, which I was a little bit amazed by. But it could have been,
Yeah,
you know, with all of those Immortals, as you were saying.
Amazed he actually lost that much. I mean, if you look at the units lost, 52 to 19 from Skiteri.
Wow.
I mean, Skiteri barely lost half the price of his army.
That's right.
And
That
it looks
push
like
is
it
going to
will-
cost him the rest, though, man.
Yeah, definitely wasn't in his best interests. Will they be able to snipe off that sentry at the back? No, it looks like it will escape.
No, it won't.
Throwing
Oh,
that one to this field.
here we
making another
go.
one.
There it
Oh,
goes. Boom goes the dynamite. We do see an expansion going down here on the bottom as Skittery lays down this Nexus. So a third base for Skittery as we see Chelovek continuing to push up the ramp.
Morphing those into Archons. He doesn't have the Calderian Amulet now or Psystorm, so they're pretty much wasted. Landing those Vikings, he needs the extra DPS. These Immortals dealing with the Marauders that are left, and these 2 Archons are now out on the field with +1 upgrades. +1 defense, about 50% complete, and cannoning up that new Nexus he built. But Chelovek could probably easily push that and destroy that with the amount he has. We do see Ghost now on the field, ready to EMP any of the sentries, breaking down his own back rocks so he can get out infantry faster. Obviously, if he wants to take a third or push any offensive attacks, it's better to have those rocks gone. Forgotten his name, Skiteri, now securing his 3rd expansion, does have the 2 assimilators there, and just pumping out Immortals, getting upgrades. 3 more gateways going down, now he has that expansion. But they only has 1 pylon powering it, that will go down, and all of the cannons are down. He has 1,700 minerals, surprised he didn't build more there, and those probes are going to go down along with that expansion. Skittery spreading his army all over the map, maybe a misclick there.
You know what, man? Here come the Ghosts. It's going to be these Archons' worst nightmare once those Ghosts get out with EMP, man.
Yep, definitely.
Oh, nice pickup.
Nice feedback there on the 2 medevacs, taking them down to half HP there. These High Templar, though, are dealing havoc with their Psystorms, and Chelovek's army, he's still trying to drop it up on his high ground now. So Skittery is able to pick off a lot of stuff while they're still in the medevacs, and now just pushing straight for his natural. 3 base, or nearly 3 base versus 2 base. Chelovek hasn't been able to move out this expansion yet, and Archons with the splash damage is going to deal with those, trying to move from the back, but taking out one of the High Templars and a Stalker. But he's engaging in a choke, and there are sentries on
Oh, and
the
the
field.
Ghost lays down the EMP! Let's see if that's going to be able to save it. He missed one of the Immortals, that's correct.
So there's not the best EMP, but still taking away all of the shields off most of those Stalkers. Missing the Archon, though. That's still gaining its shield, taking down that Ghost Academy, so he will not be able to make any more Ghosts.